is Unit 7, Week 1, Question 1, with actual sound this time. What caused World War I? Yeah, there are 4 isms. Nationalism, the insane zeal and competitive enthusiasm of all these European countries, building these new nation states, building armies for them to go around the world. So this nationalism, Germany didn't exist before. These small city-states in Europe, all these areas aligning into big nations. So that's nationalism. Imperialism. Each of these nations was creating an empire around the globe to bring in raw materials for industry. So that's imperialism. Militarism. To get these empires around the globe, they were sending out militaries, which were helping to build the pride of the nationalism. And industrialism, because the Industrial Revolution was driving the demand for these products around the globe, which were then being manufactured, often into weapons, to go expand these colonies around the globe. So all of these isms are interacting. And then finally, all of these countries in Europe, major ones, Britain, Germany, France, Italy, they all signed alliance agreements to support one another to prevent the other from ever getting into a war. So essentially, Britain and France had carved up most of Africa. They agreed that they would defend each other against any other aggressive nation. This was especially in response to Germany's rise in the late 1800s, and it didn't have a lot of territories. Anyways, this competitive carve-up-the-world private game of risk by European monarchs, combined with these alliances, drove the world into World War I. When Archduke Ferdinand of Serbia was shot by a nationalist, Austria-Hungary then asked Serbia for an apology. They refused. So Serbia suddenly declares war on Serbia. Serbia, being a Slavic nation, is supported by Russia. So Russia has an alliance with Serbia, but Russia also has an alliance with France. So then they declare war on Germany. Huh? Well, Germany and Austria-Hungary were allied together. These 2 massive world alliances that would prevent, in theory, anyone from ever going into war, dragged everybody into war when one of them was pulled in. So you have these central powers, which are Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire, against the allied powers, which are Britain, France, and Russia along with Serbia. Those 2 were fighting with each other, and the U.S. is trying to be independent and neutral at first, because we want to sell weapons to both sides. But before long, we get pulled in to this war, and we end the Monroe Doctrine, we end our isolation, and we end up in a massive global event in Europe. But as I tell my students, blame the potatoes and the sheep. Because originally, Europe rose to prominence from the agricultural revolution of more crops from the turnips, and the enclosure movement of putting sheep. So the Industrial Revolution wouldn't have come to existence without excess population by too much food and people being shoved out by the sheep. And that's it from some guy in an aloha print shirt.